Hey, what's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? It's your boy Chris. It's your boy Chris. It's another amazing episode of Financipation. This channel is all about making money, saving money, building generational wealth, and financially emancipating yourself from generational poverty. On this channel, everybody, I try to give you a six-figure MBA level worth of investing and financial knowledge for free here on YouTube. And things that people typically spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to learn in grad school, I give it to you for free here on Financipation, okay? Before I get started, I want to give a shout out to one of my sponsors, Kilica Solutions. If you need digital marketing, website development, or someone to essentially edit your YouTube videos, they are the best in the business at meeting all of your digital needs. Also, please hit that notification bell, okay? So, in order to quantify progress, you have to measure it, and there's no better way to gauge where you are financially than to compare yourself to your peers. So if you're serious about retiring with dignity and with respect, a person should be spending the majority of their working adult lives investing into tax-efficient retirement accounts like the 401k, the Roth IRA, and the HSA accounts, and their brokerage accounts. If you follow my channel, you are very well aware of the fact that I talk about these concepts. I actually call them the three pillars, essentially. And in this particular podcast, we're going to talk about the 401k and specifically how your 401k investment retirement accounts should compare to the typical Americans that are your age, okay? So let's get started, okay? Let's get started. So first off, what exactly is a 401k? A 401k account balance, everybody, is one of the most widely used tax-efficient retirement accounts in the world. It's named after a section in the IRS code, and it was designed by Congress to encourage Americans to essentially retire. The idea was if you encourage Americans to retire when they're working adult lives, they're gonna need a lot less government assistance in regards to Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security when they reach their golden years, 65 and above. And the 401k, it should be a large investment tool that you use on your road to financially emancipate yourself from poverty. 401ks are typically a U.S. sponsored retirement plan that allows an employee to contribute money into their account, and many companies offer you a match up to a certain amount. There are essentially two types of 401k accounts, the traditional 401k and the Roth 401k. I have separate podcasts essentially where I talk about both as well as the pros and the cons, and I want you to kind of check out some of those podcasts. But for this particular podcast, I'm going to interchangeably use the 401k as well as the Roth 401k, okay? As I stated earlier, everybody, many employers in the United States of America match a certain percentage of the funds that you put into your 401k account. For example, let's say you work for a company that matches the first $5,000 that you put into your 401k. That means if you put $5,000 into your 401k, your company automatically gives you an extra $5,000 for free. It's also for that reason why I always say that typically one of the first financial steps I tell anybody to do when they come to me for financial consultations, I tell them to always invest into your employer's 401k match. If they invest the first 3%, you need to put 3%. If they invest the first $5,000 you put into your 401k account, you need to put $5,000 in that 401k account. Why? Because it is free money. Another benefit too about the 401k is this: if it's a traditional 401k, it actually lowers your taxable income. So if you make $50,000 and you put $4,000 into your 401k that year, the IRS will only tax you on $46,000 for that particular calendar year if it's a traditional 401k. Also, if you're interested as far as what types of stocks you should invest into for your 401k, what kind of ETFs, what kind of mutual funds, what kind of bonds or whatever, reach out to me and do a one-on-one session with me and I'll walk you through all of that, okay? Now, let's move on to the meat and potatoes of this. How does your 401k balance compare to people your age compared to the average or median American? Elon Musk, LeBron James, Grant Cardone, Warren Buffett, Robert Smith, billionaires like that, they essentially greatly skew what the average 401k balance is. What that means is this: if you go by the average 401k balance, it's kind of not realistic, okay? So for this particular podcast, we're going to focus on the median 401k balance because the average 401k balance is essentially skewed because of the billionaires that I just got mentioning earlier. So according to a 2022 study that was done by Vanguard, the average American that is 25 has a median 401k balance of only $1,948. I won't lie, everybody, that's kind of scary. If that number is honestly true, and considering the fact that it's coming from Vanguard, if you were 25 years old and you had less than $2,000 saved in your 401k, that's not very good. Having said that, At 25, the typical American, at least I know I was, you're basically barely out of school, you're barely out of college, you're barely out of trade school, you're still figuring your life out, you're still, let's say, you're still out partying a lot and everything, and you're still essentially figuring out what you want to do with your life. At least I know that I was at 25. And additionally, another thing is 25, you went the college route that I went, which is I got an engineering degree and I ultimately got my MBA. You are essentially stuck with a lot of student loans if you're the typical American, unfortunately. I walked away with $120,000 for student loans and for my master's degree, so I know exactly where you're coming from if you're in that world, okay? Additionally, I also keep it completely honest. If you're a guy, if you were like the way that I was, you're still most likely out partying, you're tricking, you're spending money, you're leasing cars, you're doing stupid stuff. And at that age, you are literally you're very immature. But on top of that, you also probably are still kind of figuring out who you are, and you're wasting it and blowing a lot of money. So whether you're a man or a woman, essentially at 25, you are literally at your lowest earning potential of your adult life. And because of that reason, having $1,948 as a median income for your 401k balance, I'm honestly not surprised about it. But having said that, it's also very low. At 25 years old, people, you should be essentially investing 15% of your income every paycheck. And you should be investing that money into your 401k. That's a great way to start, okay? Next. According to a 2022 study done by Vanguard, the average American that is 26 to 34 has a median 401k balance of only $11,360. That number to me is also very low. And having said that, if you're 26 with $11,000 in your 401k balance, all right, you're kind of on the process. But if you're 34 years old with only $11,000 in your individual retirement accounts and in your 401k, you should be a little worried. I'm gonna be honest with you. But before I digress too much, by age 30, Fidelity recommends having 1 year of your annual salary stashed away in a tax-efficient workplace retirement account like the 401k. So in other words, if you make $50,000 a year at age 30, you should have $50,000 a year saved into your 401k according to Fidelity. And if you are a little behind, don't worry about it. My advice is quite simple. We work on this channel. My advice is for you to get a second job, or even better, to start a business on the side so you can start playing catch up with your contributions, okay? Because at 30 years old, you want to have at least 1 year of your retirement savings saved in your 401k, according to Fidelity and also according to Financipation. Additionally, by age 30, you most likely should have matured by then. You might be married. You probably have a combined income if you are married. And this is also the time we should start getting bonuses for your respective career. Whether you went the electrician route and now you're an electrical foreman, or you went the electrical engineering route, now you're an electrical PE, regardless of what it is. By age 30, your career should kind of be starting to go in an upward trajectory, and you should also be making a lot more money. And my advice is also as simple as this. Whatever pay raises that you get at age 30 or between 26 and 34, you should be investing that difference into your 401k balance, okay? So if you spend your entire 20s making $50,000 and the day you turn 30, you get that $10,000 pay raise because you've been busting your butt in corporate America or in a construction job site or in the Marine Corps or whatever, people, don't go out there and buy a new pickup truck. Don't go out there and buy a new Lexus. Basically, take that $10,000 and invest it into your 401k. Next, according to a 2022 study that was done by Vanguard, the average American that is 35 through 44 has a median 401k balance of around $28,318. I will once again be very, very honest with you. If you are 44 years old with only $28,000 saved in your retirement account and your 401k balance, you should be worried. And if you were my client, I would straight up advise you to get a second job or to start that business or to get a certification in healthcare, IT, or something that you can work kind of on the side, that you can work from home. Additionally, in your 40s, you most likely have other obligations. You probably have a mortgage payment you can pay. You're probably paying for private school for your children or for your kids. You probably have 2 or 3 kids or whatever. You may be looking into financing your parents' elder care for you because they've gotten much older. So in your 40s, a lot of times your lifetime experiences and your lifetime increases and everything. And as a result, you have to basically match for that. I will say this on a bright note, your student loans at 40 are most likely gone. So at 40 years old, you still, another cool thing about 40 is this: at 40, you still have 25 years before you hit your golden retirement age at 65. And physically and mentally at 40 years old, you should be hitting your peak, and you should be mentally and physically kind of approaching your prime in regards to your prime earning years, okay? Fidelity says at 40 years old, you should have 3 times your income saved up. So if you make $75,000 at 40 years old, that means you should have $225,000 saved in your 401k by age 40. Additionally, if you have $225,000 saved in your 401k balance, that means you are doing 9 times better than the average American at 40 years old. Why? Because the average American has a paltry $28,318 saved in their 401k. Based on the numbers, however, sadly, only half of America is even at 15% of that number. People, I want you guys to get serious about your retirement, okay? Because the federal government is not coming to save you. Before we go any further, everybody, please hit that notification bell. Please like, please comment, please subscribe so that you know when I drop new content. It helps the algorithm, and I thoroughly enjoy giving you guys an MBA level worth of investing and financial knowledge for free here on YouTube, okay? Next. According to that same 2022 study that was done by Vanguard, the average American that is 45 to 54 has a median 401k balance of only $48,301. This once again, I hate to sound so pessimistic, but this once again scares me, because if you're 55 years old with $48,000 saved in your retirement account, that's not a good thing, okay? Having said that, if you are in your 50s right now, Social Security will probably still be around when you turn 62. So that is one stream of income that you can count on if you are 50 years old. Us millennials, us Gen Zers, us younger folks or whatever, even though we spend 7% of our paycheck every month paying into Social Security, we ain't getting it. So if you're 50 years old, guess what? The benefit is the government is probably gonna come help you, okay? Secondly, if you are 50 years old, you still have at least 10 to 15 years to go into retirement. And you are also, people, never too old to get that second job, to start that business on the side, or to get that certification so that you can make more money. Another good thing about being in your 50s is that your living expenses at this point should have went down. At 50 years old, your home is most likely paid for. Your adult children have left the house, or at least they should have left the house by now. You can also start downsizing at 50, and the IRS allows you to do catch-up contributions for your retirement accounts, and you can put $1,000 more into your IRAs, and you can also put a lot more money into your 401k balances. By age 50, Fidelity states that you should have roughly 6 times your annual income saved. Lastly, according to a 2022 study that was done by Vanguard, the average American that is 55 to 64 has a median 401k balance of around $71,000. Studies like this one are the things that kind of scare me a little bit, and they're the reason why I actually started Financipation. Because if you make $50,000 a year and you retire at 65, and if you want to maintain that same standard of living that you had when you worked, you would have to have $50,000 every year you're in retirement. If you live 25 years in retirement, people, and you only have $71,000, that pretty much means you are going to run out of money a year and a half into retirement, and you're probably going to be homeless in 2 years. And because of a lot of Americans today are not getting married like our grandparents did back in the day, or not having large families like our grandmothers did back in the day, and we're not necessarily as close to our extended family as we used to be 2 or 3 generations ago, the possibility, everybody, of a lot of older Americans being homeless is extremely real. If you take a look at cities like Roanoke, Virginia, cities like South Hill, Virginia, cities like Washington, D.C., cities like Los Angeles, cities like Detroit, cities like New York State, cities like New York City, cities like Miami, cities like Baltimore, the homeless populations, everybody, are exploding. Because unlike in years past, Americans today, once again, are not able to just simply move into their children's homes because they're not having kids. They're not having that extended family. Their cousins, their houses, and their in-laws or their relatives are simply not accepting Americans like they used to and like our grandparents did back in the past. Everybody, and please don't take the terrifying gamble, everyone, of thinking that Social Security is going to be here to save you. Once again, when FDR started that program back in the 1930s, he put the age where you can start collecting at 65 because the average white male in America was dead at 60. Essentially, you were supposed to be dead before you could start collecting Social Security. It should also be noted to everybody that when Social Security started, for every 1 American that received Social Security, 16 Americans were paying into it. Whereas today, at the time of this recording in 2023, for every 1 American that's getting Social Security, only 2 Americans are paying into it. Social Security, everybody, is not going to get last, period. And it's not a political statement, it's a mathematical equation. Everybody, you have to get serious about retirement and take care of yourself. And no one is going to take care of the old you like the young you. So if you are 65 years old and you only have $70,000 saved in the bank or saved in your 401k balance, and you're used to living off of $50,000, people, that means you have literally 1.5 years worth of savings in the bank. Once again, everybody, I am a numbers guy. If the average American makes $50,000 a year, Fidelity says that you should essentially have 10 times your annual income in order to retire with dignity and respect. So that means if you make $75,000 a year by age 65, Fidelity is saying that you should have $750,000 saved in your 401k balance. Everybody, I want you to get serious about your retirement, okay? Because I'm fairly certain that the vast majority of people that are listening to this podcast, as well as the vast majority of people that we go to church with, that we hoop, that we play basketball with, that we go out with, that we party with, I'm fairly certain that the vast majority of Americans that are living right now will not have $750,000 or $500,000 saved in the bank when they are ready to retire at 65, or saved in their 401k balance when they are ready to retire at 65. And this is the thing, everybody. Honestly, I'm going to be real with you. Fidelity says you should have 10 times your income saved, 10 times your annual income saved in your 401k balance. But that's not the Financipation number that I give people. If you're curious what the Financipation number is, it's simple. It's like this. Fidelity says that you should only have 10 times your annual income in retirement. Here at Financipation, I teach a different concept to my clients. The average American today retires at 65 and dies at 85. That means you will literally spend 20 years in retirement, not 10 years. In other words, everybody, you need to multiply your annual income by 20 and then double that number to account for taxes and inflation. For example, I'm a mechanical engineer. I live in a world full of numbers. Let's say you make $50,000 at 65 and you want to maintain that same standard of living. That would mean you would need to have $50,000 every year in retirement for 20 years. $50,000 times 20 years is $1 million. When you factor in taxes and inflation, you need to double that number by 2. So in other words, if you want to live 20 years in retirement and you want to maintain that same standard of living where you're making $50,000 a year, you need to have $2 million saved in retirement. Having said that, regardless, however, of whether you go with the Fidelity number or my Financipation number, people, you got to get serious about your retirement. And if you are worried, and after watching this podcast, if you are worried about your retirement, or you're worried kind of about where you're going to be living, or you're worried whether your children are going to allow you to live in their basement or wherever or whatever, I want you to reach out to me, because we have different plans set up in place where we can kind of help you and walk you through different investments, as well as how to retire with dignity and with respect here at Financipation. And over the years, I've honestly have helped a lot of people in regards to retirement planning and helping themselves as far as retiring with dignity and with respect. So in closing, everybody, I just want to say this. This channel, Financipation, is all about making money. It's all about saving money. It's all about building generational wealth, and it's all about financially emancipating yourself from generational poverty. Don't let these numbers scare you, everybody. The beautiful thing about America, and I always say this about this great country, is that this is the greatest country in the world when it comes to building wealth. In America, it does not matter how old you are, it doesn't matter what you look like, it does not matter where you come from. If you're willing to work hard and you're willing to work smart, there are certifications you can get where you can literally triple your income in a year. There are college degrees you can get, like engineering, where you can literally make hundreds of thousands of dollars after you get your degree, and you will literally always have a job because the unemployment rate is under 1%. And then best of all, this is a country that rewards capitalism. So if you have a great idea, you have a good work ethic, you kind of have an idea about how to take that idea to market, you can literally, people make $100 million in 1 year. I've seen it happen before. That, everybody, you can book a session with me at any point. The link's going to be below. I'm not giving you financial advice on this channel. You must make responsible decisions based on your thorough independent research that you do for yourself, okay? Thanks for listening, everybody. Additionally, please check out my content. Go to my website, www.therealfinancipation.com. Check me out on Instagram, @thereal_financipation. Please check me out on Spotify, just like it's spelled in that sign, Financipation. My TikTok page is Financipation as well. My Facebook tribe, my Facebook page is Financipation. And I want you to check out my digital blog as well, where I go into a lot more detail as far as investments, retirement planning, making college more affordable. All that stuff is for $4.99 a month, okay? And it's phenomenal, phenomenal content. Please check out some of my digital e-products below as well, and hit that notification button. All right, everybody, take it easy. It's your boy, Chris. I'm out. Peace.